Well, I want to throw in the fact that we have the master class and the beyond class, okay? So I want everybody to hear this because I'm going to get this one chance to say it right now, so I thought I'd use it, okay? Okay, so we do have Buck's stuff, we have my stuff, we have Bill's painting programs, and then we have the master class and the beyond class. And I want to tell everybody, the master class is great to get started for the beyond class, because you don't want to just jump into the beyond class. You've got to do the master class to see where I'm coming from and where all these elements are going to come into play. Another thing about the master class was the beyond class is what's nice about it is I'm going to show you secrets that the masters used in the Renaissance so that you're going to understand how to work things that you probably would have never found or even realized in your whole career in art. So let me give you a couple examples of what we did in it real quickly before we, I know this is a commercial. I don't like doing commercials, but this has got to be shown because you just have to know. So this is one painting we've been doing in the master class. If I can get a kind of an idea of it, right guys? So that's kind of fun to know. So here we go. That's something in the master class we've worked on. Lori's got this all video and recorded, so you can paint this at your leisure anytime you want. So that's one. That's just to show you the kind of things you can do. And then we're working on a Rembrandt right now, but this isn't a Rembrandt. I don't want to show you the Rembrandt only because it's in this ugly stage. So this is something else you can be working on, another concept.
Isn't that a Vermeer?
Well, it's my idea of a Vermeer, yeah. And then we also have, as we work stuff, I start teaching you all the laws that Brunelleschi did about perspective and everything starts to coalesce about how you create all this dimension and everything. And you can even achieve this at some point. So there you go. I hope you guys understand that that's what I do well. I teach this stuff. People have been real happy about that. Are we ready to get into this painting? There's my commercial. It's over.
Tom, can I just add something before you start?
Sure.
With the paintings that he showed you with the village and everything, we did that in the Beyond Masterclass, and that one we meet every week. We meet for an online class, and the people that are in that class have already completed the regular masterclass that we have, the series. But it all starts with something, the birch tree, which is kind of our starting point. It's Tom's starting point, and that's where all the basics and the color mixing and everything is taught from that level on. And so the techniques that Tom's teaching, there's just a lot of great ways to get this education. Go ahead, Tom.
And all those little nuggets of gold, all the things I teach you during that, every painting has another element. So I'm going to introduce things into you, like I said, you never would have thought of. Just ask the people that are in our Beyond class how much I've made them knowledgeable. All right, guys.
I wonder if you want to show the wall with all the paintings. If you want to just turn the camera over to the wall. I don't know.
That.
Yeah, these are the ones that we did this last year.
Yeah, there's 10 paintings. I just took one off, but I'll go ahead and turn it around.
And it's all done online, just like through this platform that we're doing right now.
And there's the Rembrandt that's in the ugly stage. Don't look at it. It'll get better.
Anyway, some of these paintings are still in process because we will work on one, then we'll let it dry for a week or two, and then we'll come back to it. And so Tom is able to not only teach the wet on wet stuff, but the glazing and painting on dry canvases as well.
That's right. There's many elements into learning art, everybody. Okay, so I've been thinking about this. I really want this water to be more subdued right here because I didn't really want a giant waterfall. I just wanted water running off this rock. So what I'm going to do, and you're going to learn this as you're a painter, you're going to learn to take things off, put things back on. So the first thing, my mind has been thinking about this for ever since I did it. Okay, I'm just going to kind of lift some of this up right off of there. And then I'm just going to soften it. Okay, so I'm picking it up just to remove it, to blend it in to the rocks. Okay, so now what I want to do is go ahead and take my fan brush and soften that and sort of get it to look like it's running down the rock, but it's not really a giant waterfall coming in there. So I'm just going to take the dry fan brush, soften it down, kind of mix it down into this rocky area. That'll help it look like the water's coming from here. Do you guys see how nice that was? See how I did that? Didn't take a lot of effort. As you're an artist, you're going to learn to paint with just, it's just a matter of knowing that sometimes things can be too thick or too thin. So you're going to be lifting things off all the time. Now, I like that better. Now, before I go further, I'm going to explain something that's really important. I talked about gray being far away, but I want you to understand painting's like building it's like a cake. Like if you think of a 3-tiered cake, you have a thick bottom, you have a thinner, well, it's smaller, then you have it's smaller at the top. So think about it this way. Everything back here is much, much more flatter and smoother. But as you're building up in this mid-range, everything gets thicker on the canvas, but not a lot, just a degree thicker. So like if you were measuring this out, it would be real flat here, then about an 1/8 of an inch thick here. And then as you move down, it's going to get a little thicker in texture. Now, the thicker it is, when it gets really thick, that's called impasto. So all of your thickness in a painting should be down in this area and never way up here too much. And because then you're reversing, it doesn't create depth. That's what I wanted you guys to hear. Okay, that's pretty good knowledge right there, I hope. Okay, so proving that point, when I put this white on earlier, I blended it in, but I didn't really do any thickness to the paint. So I need to do that now. Okay, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to add some thickness to it. That's called impasto. I can tell you a couple of things here. You can put some thick white out right out of the tube and mix it in, and that would be kind of a half paste. Or you can let this sit out for a few days and it'll get thick on its own. Or that's number 2. Number 3, you can literally do this. You can take a paper towel or paper towels or one paper towel, just see, and you can fold it up. Let me show you this because some people don't know this. You can take this, put it on a paper towel, and come back an hour later, and that oil will suck out of there and make a thicker paint for you. Is that cool? You'll probably want to think of, I'm going to leave that there and see if it thickens up and see if I get a little ring of oil around that, okay? That way you get your impasto and you just use your magic white and go for it, guys. That's what I do. Well, a lot of times. Okay, here we go. So those are some ways to get your thicker paint. And remember, it's always going to be at the bottom. So now I have white in my brush, my fan brush. Bill would say the almighty fan brush. I don't blame him. It's almighty. So you can see that's brighter on top than the tone that I have underneath it. Because that tone I have underneath isn't bright enough. By the way, and that's nice, huh? While I'm doing it, let me explain this. Because I pushed all that paint down very deeply in the canvas, this is, it's getting sticky, it's gooey because it's oxidizing in the air. So if you hear it, listen to this closely, guys. You hear that grab? That is the key. And a good artist in the Renaissance used to wait day after day. It got stickier and stickier, and that's what gave them all their control. So they would paint day after day after day so they could model one color into another more easily and waiting for it to dry constantly. So that's where Raphael would have been, who was considered the greatest chiaroscuro artist ever, and getting all his dimension in, he would wait for that paint and work on it day after day as it was tacky, getting tacky. I like that idea. That's a good plan. Now, all I'm doing now is just kind of express myself here. Hold this out, and you got a little paint there. Sometimes you get little nuggets in there. Don't worry about it. That's from wiping the paper towel. Just knock off later if you want. I don't worry about that stuff. I have no worries, you guys, in this kind of art. You know what? I'm going to bring a little light out up here just because I think I should. Because sometimes light gets past that a little bit. See that? Even though this is in the cooler side, you're still going to get a little tinge of that light here. But if you do too much, then you take away from it. So on the dark side, you do very little. Like a Rembrandt would be light over here and very little bit of light that got past it. Because light's going to go wherever it wants to go. So you want to be like the master of light. All right, now, I had a good night's sleep. I kept thinking about what can I do for everybody, because that's how I roll. And now this is getting brighter and brighter and nicer and nicer. And then, you know, Buck's probably going to show you later on how to use that bunny brush. That's pretty good, huh? Because it's kind of cool. The bunny brush is real soft. Okay, you see how I did that little stroke there? Watch this. Oh wait, why did that work? Because this is still damp. That's real light here. This is light on a lighter tone, and this is still damp, so I can stretch this white out now into that damp color. Draw a little half circle. Move this around a little. Take this over here a little bit. Watch this. And I hear some weird noise going on. I don't know what that is. All right, you see how I did that? Look. Now, if you want that soft and you cleaned your brush, by the way, I'm going to show you how to clean your brush with soap, water, vegetable oil. Now, you can use your Alexander 1-inch brush and just kind of all the water you want to do is soft. So how hard am I hitting this, everybody? Lighter than a feather. Look. Lighter. You can't even hardly hear that on the canvas. Look. Lighter than a feather. And then you soften it. Look how nice that looks when you soften it. You're just wisping that paint in there like this. Look. And you want to leave the darks that you want dark, the lights that you want light. And it's all about controlling it. The whole thing about painting is learning how to use this almost like a sculptor, like Michelangelo would use marble. You got to control the levels of paint, how much there is, how little there is. It really comes down to just understanding how to control everything. See, that looks good on screen, doesn't it? Okay, picking up white. I got a little dirt in there, so you might want to wipe it on your paper towel. Let's walk up this little rock area real quick. Now, the other thing that's interesting about everything I'm doing here is, did you notice I'm not afraid to touch something, because even if it gets dirty, that base color is synergetic with everything I do. So if I start making mistakes, I can fix them quicker because the base color has all the colors in it. So you don't want to avoid getting all your colors in that base color. That's pretty cool, huh? So if I sort of mess this up right here, it's not a problem, because when I wipe the brush, it'll be fine. Look, I could even take some of this. Well, wait a minute, watch this. I'm going to run this down like this. And it's not perfect yet because I need it to be lighter, but it's a tone that's underneath there that's not going to hurt it. Now, when I wipe off the brush, get your brush wiped. If you really want the brush clean, which I don't ever really do that much, I have my magic clear in this container here. I poured it in, magic clear. You guys know what that is, right? And I have it here. Now, this is a quick way to clean your brush. Just dip it in the magic clear, a quickie. Ready? And just wipe it off. Let me turn that so you can see it. See what I did? I just got rid of the dirt. So now that I got rid of some of the dirt, I want to improve this up here. I'll get more white again. Let's see if I can get something in here to make it look better. Oh, that's so fun. Every time you do something, you're kind of like amazed that you could even do it. If you know the formula here, you know, it's fun. It's surprising too sometimes. But see, I have the gray underneath, so that's a good thing. And then I can start spilling paint off like that, see? But I also want some light down here, so let me get busy with it. All right, so I'm putting more light down here. And light doesn't look good if there's not a tone underneath it. You got to have something underneath it. All righty. So, excellent. All right. So I stopped right there. My last stroke was down here. Now I'm going to open up a brand new liner brush. Cool. Generally, if you buy brushes at anywhere, and it doesn't matter what you do, this is a little trick for you. Sometimes what they'll do is they'll put wax around this. The best thing to do is to take this, pinch the bottom of the hairs, so the hairs don't break. Just pinch it like this, and see, this has wax, so see what I did? I'm breaking the wax off. So I'm going to dip into a little bit of Magic Clear. Put that over there. And I'm coming down here and I'm thinning the paint. Now I call this like a fish out of water. Watch this, guys. I move it around like this, like it's flapping around. See that? You don't have to, don't do this. This is going to break the hairs eventually, but just move it like that. That'll give you thin paint. Fish out of water. That's what I call it. And you're just going to draw like little designs like that. Now I can tell you one thing. Buck said this a long time ago. We'll probably bring this up in class on Friday. If you're doing a wave going up like that, you're going to draw this 3 shape. If you're doing some of the foam in the water, you're just going to draw like an almond shape. So what you're going to do is, like, if you start off small, and then if you kind of draw this almond shape, go a little harder, and then it'll make it wider like that if you want. Now I went backwards, so there you go. I have to fix that. So it's just a matter of just going like this, and then just boom, 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 go like that way. And you can soften that. See how I did a little nuances in there? Pick up your dry 1-inch brush, and pull it this way, and just give it a little pull. You don't have to do much. You don't try to be don't try to be overexerting in anything you're doing. It's best not to. Okay, so using the same color, going down here, I'm going to grab this bluish gray that I made, and I'm going to start hitting some more rocks up there. Now, some of the stuff is falling off into crevices over here. So let me see, there's some going this way. Pulling it down like that, let it fall. Some of it's up here. Some of it's going like this a little bit. Some of it's kind of breaking off here and going down. Just got to imagine it. Some of it's up here, let it fall down that way. Everything's just kind of dripping off that rock, those rocks. Do you see that? Just let that happen. And then you can even get in here with a little bit of this, because you never want to stay like you could even get into your white, put little nuances of shade in your white too. See, I'm laying it down more. Look at that. See, like when Bill did his mountains, sometimes he would put the white on and he'd go back and put dark inside the white to create other little nuances. You can do that too. That's a good thing to do. Rembrandt would have done it in a heartbeat. So now I want to use this paint, and I want to go around and see if I got a different shade, a different thing going on. I'll let this fall down, and maybe something over here, fall down, let it fall. Hold it. Look how I'm holding the brush too, everybody. Look. See, think about this like a duck. Quack, 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 right? And the duck's going to eat popcorn. He grabs onto this, way into the back of his beak, And then you can draw things down, or you can go up and do nice branches and pull away. So the way you hold this brush, if you hold it like this, there's not much stability there. And you do want to do that sometimes. But if you do this, it's hard to, the brush is very controlled. See that? I'm pushing up, look. And then if I do this, it's weaker. I just want to give you that tip, okay? Now, I'm going to stop right there because my brain is on a roll. I'm just thinking about what can I do next. I'm going to take the palette knife, take a little white, drop it down in the color I made before, and that was just yellow, red, and that mud color, the base color. I'm going to lift this up, and I'm going to attack this rock in the front because it looks crazy right now, just all black and dark. So like I said before, it's just a matter how you want to style this, everyone. I'm going to not go right on top of I'm going to go just above that dark. No matter where I go, I'm going above the dark, just slightly. So I'm going to lay it on. I'm going to pat it down. Now, the pressure that I have is very, very soft. I'm even holding my other hand, by the way. Look, I'm bracing it, holding it this way. That feels good. I like that little light there too. Okay. Now I'm going to do more over here because I want to. Sometimes it's just what you want to do. Other times it isn't. So now I'm going up here. I'm going to achieve this. The problem with this area right here is if I just keep doing the same thing, it's not going to look good. So I'm going to do a little crazy nuance thing in a second. That's my favorite word today, crazy. I always come up with a favorite word of the day. This is where, now the paint's thicker. Let me see if I can get the camera up so you can see that. This is what you want. You want it thicker here and less thick back here. Now if that does get thick, you can scrape it off in a little bit, but keep it thicker here, a little bit thicker there, a little thick there, real thin as you go back further. That'll give you a lot of depth. And don't let me mislead you. When I say thick, I don't mean like, you know, like a quarter of an inch off the palette, the canvas. Could be, but I'm not saying that. Okay, and I'm going to do another crazy move up here. That's my word of the day. Now, putting light on light is not an easy achievement. It just requires more technique. I want to just draw that a little bit. There you go. There you go. And then I'm going to just drop it down a little. Boom. That's pretty lit up, isn't it? Now I'm going to dry knife it. I'm going to ruin the bottoms of this a little bit and extend it back and down like this. Okay, I like that. That's pretty good. Now, what I'm going to do is go over here and build something up and then put some color in. I want to work back here, but this is a safe area for me right now. A little white, not too much because I don't have a lot of light back there. Pick it up. Let's see what we got. Not looking too much like a watercolor now, right, Myrtle? All right. You got a little response there. All right, let's just carve that in. Now, I also want to make up I want to tell you guys something. Because this is very sticky right now, very tacky. That's a good thing. 2 days from now, that would be awesome. Do I want to refine that? Yes. How can I do that? Well, I can do this. A little yellow, a little red. I can warm up that rock area. Put it in my base dollop. And you got to be pretty tangential in my world. Look, see this? I've got a new concept going, deeper shadows. And I actually got some green going on. I kind of like that. I just picked up a little more red. And I'm actually mixing into this dark. It's very, very sticky right now. And that's a good thing. I might want to carve this out over. Oh, look at that one. See? Now I want to enhance. Oh, that looks good, doesn't it? I want to enhance this. See, I was even surprised. That's kind of crazy. As long as I've been doing this, I surprise myself sometimes. And if you're right-handed, just find a way to pull it. You know, pull it this way towards you or something. I want to go to this rock right here. I just want to use this palette and I give it a different look. Because I like it to look a little different than just generic rocks. You know, here's a little nuance up here. Now remember the rule though, everything, I don't know if it's so much a rule, it's just a thing you have to do. Remember the rule here, I said rule again, the bottom has to be softened. So I do have to soften that. Everything at the bottom should be softened. Okay, that gave it a different style, didn't it? It has a different style. I love it when Myrtle reacts. That's really great. She gives me all these clues, like she gets it. All right, so I want to pull some color up into that. This is such a fun painting. I'm going to add a little bit more blue into my gray with my fan brush. Look at dark, light, reflective, and all the massive dark is up there. I really hope you guys are learning something. This is kind of like, if you can keep everything like this, wouldn't that be wonderful if you didn't have dollops everywhere, all over the place, going crazy out of your mind? Wouldn't that be nice? That'd be the day you're really, really having fun. So we're going to pull up into the rock and down a little. Now, like I said before, the only reason this is even working is because everything came out of that base color. Now, this is where you could hypnotize this a little bit more. Or the other word is fumato. You know what I want to do? This just caught my eye. I want to create a sharp edge of dark inside there in the water. That would look kind of neat instead of it being that soft. Let me see if I can do that now. Got to go in your gut. Blue. I'm going to put it in the dark, the base color, which I'm losing. I can make that in a few seconds. Okay. Not much paint on there. I don't really care. Don't need much paint for this. So I want to get in here and deepen this a little. And I just want to make a sharper edge out here where it just kind of, this is just a little glitch of mine. I just want it to look like it's more edged without taking everything out. See, I just went back here. I'm just going to carve it in a little bit. Also want to put some dark in here. I just feel like I want to, like I need to. So you're jumping back and forth on the painting all over the place. To me, that was a better move. I'm not really sure I want to get too much into this in here for the limited time. I want to go put some color on this, working from light to the dark, light to dark. Trying never to keep my paintbrush in one place. I don't want that up there because I know that's bothering Myrtle and Sherry and people I know. I know it's bothering them.
Guys, we don't normally have this problem with the internet.
No, we never do. That's kind
I
of
think
weird.
it's just everybody's on. I mean, I don't mean everyone's on this call. I mean, just we're all home on the internet.
That could be, Lori.
Yeah.
So what do you want to do?
Just keep going. I'm sorry that I'm interrupting you, but just keep going.
All right, that's okay. I'm wiping off the brush. Now I'm going to add more phthalo blue down in here. More white. I know this painting is a little monochromatic, but I think it's a good teaching tool on how to get everybody moving in paint with a little bit of structure. I'm going to go a little bluer. See how this works. I'm in that blue gray. Ready? What the? Now, how am I doing that? So we have some foam action going on here. And what I'm doing is I'm flicking the brush towards the light. So I'm actually holding the brush I'm not doing this. I'm not holding it real close like that. I'm holding it way back here. And it's at, let's see, if I use this part like a clock right here, let me do this. This is 1 o'clock. This is 7 o'clock. So my brush is at this angle. From that point to that point, I'm like this. Now, sometimes if the light's coming from the right, you can do 11 o'clock to 5 o'clock, turning it this way. But now that I know the light's coming this way, I want to keep this brush like this. And then I'm going to drop this down and I'm going to show you. I'm flicking it. I'm pushing it towards the light. So this is a really good thing to understand. And here it's a little flatter, so I don't need to do much. And then just kind of blend it in. See how cool that was? See, that's because I'm pushing it that way. Now, if I turn it the wrong way, it's all over. Everything is going backwards. So I don't know if we want that, but that's a good spot to have a bird when we get there. All right, did everybody understand that? Here. Okay, if I use my finger, this is called fregazi. Just get in like, you know who would have done this? Tishan would have done this in a heartbeat. I think I already mentioned that once. Now, just because I put that up there, it doesn't mean that I'm done with it. So I'm going to wipe off the brush. I want to get light. Didn't that happen really fast? So it's just the way you're holding it, and you push it and jiggle it. And then you can blend it down like this. Look, there's hardly any paint on there now. Look, it's just it's just disappearing. Look. Because you're always blending the bottom out. Now what we want to do is put a little light on it, but not a lot because it's not in the brightest area. It's just a little bit right here. Buck's going to go into more of this tomorrow, I think. I hope. Let's pick up some white at the end of the brush. I'm shoveling it in this time because I just want it there. So I actually shoveled into the white. I just literally shoveled in and lifted up. If I keep mixing, it's going to turn really kind of blue. So there's some white, magic white. Now I'm going to hold it in straight like this, and I'm just going to kind of put a little bit there, a little bit there. I'm just sprinkling on a little bit here and there. And now that I did that, all I have to do is focus, which is a very difficult thing to do for me because I'm so tangential, okay? So all I want to do is tickle this paint and bring it out with like a flick. Let it just flick up into the rocks area. Put a little more on if you want, building levels. Tap it if you want. Just watch. This is another way to do it. Watch. Sometimes you could do this. Watch. Hold the brush this way and just pat it. Pat it down. There's about 100 different ways you can do anything. That was kind of fun, huh? Did you see that? If you can't control it this way with pressure, then turn it this way. Whatever you need to do. If you have to throw a shoe up there, do it. Use a shoe. It doesn't matter. You got to get in there and kind of control that area. Okay. I think the liner brush is missing me. So I'm going to pick up the liner brush, bring it down here, and I'm going to go with a little white. Very light touch. I'm going to brace my hand in here, hold this way back here, and I'm going to get a bird in here. You could do this. Could draw it out first before you start it, in case you're worried about it. Holding the brush very carefully. Hold your breath and pull. Uh-oh, that's one bird. Maybe I need a little dark part of the wing on there. Now I kept this light back here because I wanted the bird's wing to show up dark. If I made this really dark back here, I probably wouldn't care. In other words, if this was darker back here, that dark wouldn't show. So I left the light back there on purpose. Okay, that was my thing. Now, if you're going to use dark, sometimes you have to use the Alexander medium to thin the dark down. If you don't have enough dark, you're gonna have to make some. And it looks like I don't have enough because it's the same color as the background. Maybe I could squeeze a little out there. No, I'm gonna have to make it. So real quickly, watch this. Yellow, it's not a good thing. That's a good thing I'm showing you this, look. Bring it all back together, more red. Remember, more red and more blue makes it dark and you have your base color again. It turns brown, that's the first thing. Oh, by the way, speaking of colors, okay, yellow and violet make brown. Red and green make brown. Orange and blue make brown. Those are your primary colors. That's why Delacroix said, give me mud and I could paint all the colors I want around the object of, Venus, because all the colors can make that mud, and then you just put better colors around it or on top of it. There's my dark again. That was really fast and really cool. I'm into it now. I'm gonna pick up some dark. Wasn't that nice? Now let's see what I did. If I wiped it off, it wouldn't turn gray. That'd be okay. Let's go for it. So this is going to be tip of the morning to you. Now here's a trick, you guys. Watch this. I showed this in my Beyond class. If you feel like you can't get in and steady it, oh, let me show you this. I got to do it. Do this with your hands. Just go like that. I showed that to my Beyond class. They were happy I showed it to them. That gets all the blood into your hands and you feel certain. And then you could even brace your finger on here or just rest your hand like this and just kind of hit the edge of that. That was good. Nice. Got a little thing on there. See that? So get that hand shook up. That's another good thing you could do. Also, don't let the liner brush not be your friend. I want to show you something. You can keep this liner brush and draw on the back of this rock and lay it down and literally carve out more shapes with the liner brush at the back, on the ends and the back of the rock. See what I'm doing here? And you could even go in like this. And let me show you something else with the liner brush. Sometimes the liner brush could be a great tool. You can go down here, that paint is damp, wet, adding more dark with your liner and controlling the shapes more. Watch this. So if I want this rock to look a little different here, I can bring up the dark. I can change the angle of this, and I can roll the liner brush right down into this area and just have fun with it. Look, let rocking and rolling, you guys. Look, just rolling all these shapes. Look, I'm gonna roll this in here. See, a thinner paint will stick on a thicker paint. And then maybe I want to carve this a little different. It's all up to you. Look, more of this, more, I just got more. Just want to show you that. And if you want this more edgy, like this, you can create something more like that. Change the shape a little underneath it. Come in like this and kind of draw different shapes. It's really up to you. There you go. That was fun. Now, just because you did that, now you got to soften it. Because like I said, everything gets softened at the bottom. So now you just pat this in. Try to use a dry brush if you want. Get this up the edge, pat it down. That way, if you pat it, you don't lose the shapes. See what I'm doing? I'm not really losing all those dark nuances. That was a term that one of my students said. These are called nuances. Do you see that? Look at this. This is dramatic in front of you, and I kept this grayer back there deliberately. Okay. Back to our fan brush, our almighty fan brush. I love the fan brush. Wow, this is the greatest tool on the planet. So up here we have water spilling down. Just let it drop. You don't know where it's going. You can't control this because, no, you can't. I'm just kidding. This is, you can't control this. You gotta let nature take over, guys. Okay. So I'm letting nature take over. I'm going to get a little more white, drop it in here. I got to get a little more water coming down. Now I'm hitting it real light with, I'm using just the corner of the brush. I'm kind of using just the corner. And I'm just going to let that spill down. And oh, there it is, right down into the, Buck told everybody what this was. It's called the dish. There's a dish down here. If you have a big wave going up, it's called the dish. Everything flattens out down there. That's why Buck is awesome. See what I'm doing there? I went back to that. See, I couldn't help myself. I want to go to this area and have a rock in front of it. That would look nice. So let me do this. I know sometimes all right, I'm gonna get a little more white in here. Let me show you. I got a little more white, a little more of the blue. Just pick it up. And I'm just gonna create something different. I don't know what I'm gonna do here. I'm just gonna do something a little crazy. I just want to invent something. Another level. And then I'll just kind of splash it around here. It's all kind of coming together like that. And then I'm going to put darker blue here, and you'll see this is going to look good. Watch. This is where you get super creative, guys. More blue and black together. I had somebody tell me one time you can't make black with yellow, red, and blue. What? I thought my art career was over. That's insane. They literally told me you cannot make black with yellow, red, and blue. I said, well, what have I been doing for years? I must be a genius. It's crazy. Anyhow, here comes the dark. I want to get a little dark in here. I'm going to soften this down a little. Look a little, my little sweepy strokes. Look. Oh, that a word, sweepy? No, that sounds a little nuts. All right, here comes a little more dark. Look. See, I want to be expressive. I want to do things. I want to move paint around. I want to be a shaker and a mover. Look. And then I want to get a little light on here. A little more white. Back into this because everything's just working perfectly right now because of the nature of the base color. And yes, can that base color be used anywhere? Yeah, I could change the color and make more. I know I like to have green in water. What if we were doing a Mediterranean scene? Ooh, that'd be awesome. So here comes a lighter version of this because it's in shadow, but it's not really in light. That's the lightest area. We're doing pretty good here, I think. I think this painting looks kind of nice right now. I'm going to put a little more white in there, guys. Watch. I just want to brighten it up a little behind the rock. It's really my decision, isn't it? More white behind the rock. If I put light against dark, it's more dramatic. And therefore it was. And I could do a little swirl here. There you go. That gave a little nuance. Now what I want to do is take this and I want to do a little stream of, I've lost some paint. I'm just going to do a little stream of water. Maybe something's going like this. Who knows? Nobody really knows how that water's working in here. And then over here in this corner, just to set things up, here's a rule that everybody should learn. You need to have dark to frame your painting. You need to have dark. I left a little smidge of that dark in the distance. And this has to be dark, and this has to be dark, and that has to be dark because it frames the picture. So if you don't put dark here, dark here, dark here, and dark there, the picture isn't framed. That's what sucks you into the light. Did everybody get that? That's a real big deal. If you look at Renaissance paintings, you'll find these corners framing the painting. Okay, so I got that point across. So what I want to do here, because it's lacking that, I don't want it harsh. You don't have to have a lot of dark. I'm going to take a little bit of red. You're welcome. You're thinking red and water. Well, it's going to look more violet-like. That's okay. Violet gray. So that's a new color. I want a little more because sometimes you want to warm things up. And now I want to go here and deepen a little. I kind of like it on film But I don't want you guys to forget this. So I'm going to go, even if I ruin it, it's better for me to ruin it to show you what you need than to leave this out. But I don't think I'll ruin it. I'm pretty capable at this point, I think. Capable of doing something. Ruin it? No. Okay. I'm capable of doing something. Now, look, I want you to see what just happened with your eye. Can you see how that's framing the picture now? Even though I didn't really do much, it really sucks you into this. And this leads you out if there's no dark there. Does that make sense? So I'm going to take my dry brush and just kind of pull these colors together. That was a great teaching tool right there. I'm so happy to teach you guys. You have no idea. Now, up here, I need another rock. How we're doing pretty good on this painting, don't you think? So more red down here. I'm kind of pushing it into a violet tone because remember, blue is the strongest color. So my base color is now becoming a little violet-like, okay? So I'm going to bring this up in here. I'm going to do it with the fan brush this time. Look. It's like another level. Now the bottom gets blended. It has to be. This is what creates your concept. Throw a little, look, if I put this here, I'm going to throw a little in the water. I just have to. I want a little rock out here. All right, did that. I don't know why I did that. I just guess I wanted to. I can stick with the palette knife, or I'll just do that. I'll stick with the palette knife. Now I want to have some color back there, but I don't want it to stand out much. So I'm going to kind of ruin this color here. I'm going to put a little red in it. So it's not as pretty. Look, is that a word? Pretty? Okay, pretty. It's not as pretty. So it's not as lit up. I was excited to come see you guys today. Okay, so I'm up here. I'm trying to tone that color down so the color isn't too much because it's in that shadowy area. And then I want to take this and I want to put some of it back here. And I want to put it here too. I want to put it here because everything actually goes, look, I could touch this color, get it up in here too, look. Now, some of you probably wouldn't do that. You want to do it. You want to go crazy. Start adding stuff.
Tom,
Yes, ma'am.
is that going to be a rock?
It is a rock.
It is a rock.
It is a rock.
Okay. Thank you.
Either that or I got rocks in my head. Sorry, Myrtle.
I believe it's a rock.
I might have rocks in my head, you guys. Okay, now I'm going to bring it out a little more, Myrtle, so you can see it, okay? And it's sort of in a foggy area. I don't really want it to stand out much, Myrtle. Okay? Got a lot of paper towels going on. Okay, so now we want a little water dripping off of that. Keep yourself a little garbage can around, you guys, and make sure you're wiping your hands off a lot. Remember, these paints are non-toxic. You don't have to worry about things. I want a little water dripping off of that so you know it's a rock, okay, Myrtle? Because it could be a whale. What if I had a whale splash? One time I did a whale on TV. It was awesome. Killer whale jumping through the air. Remember, Linda? That was really good. That's my wife, Linda, you guys. She's awesome. Ready? So a little bit of white back down into this. A little bit of blue in there. Just want to add the blue because it's in that really cool area. So I'm going to drip some water off of this too, like I've done on other things. Now, do you see, Myrtle? Good. And a lot of splashing going on here. Maybe I'll splash up against the rock. Splash up here. Don't leave this out. I left a little holiday there. And get this out because it's going the same direction. I can put a little more foam up here. That probably look good. Give it a little more nuance. Flick this a little more if you want. Flick this a little more. Just dirty that up a little bit. That's okay. You got things going on. And let me see. I'm going to do something wild here. Hold on. A little bit of the blue-gray. And a little bit more gray that I have here because I want to get something in the back of that rock. So I'm just going to come in with the brush like this and create like a grayish tone on the back, kind of giving that extra little dark side. Now, once you do that, you have to pat it down because if you put it on like that gently, then you're just going to have to flatten it, make it look less dramatic. You can do that with your palette knife. You see that? See how clever that was? I didn't have to work hard at it. I just have to get it on there and model it. Now at the end here, it's usually a good idea to let the end just fade away, but I do want a little bit more detail on the back of that. This is a picture all in itself right there. Just this. That's a beautiful picture all by itself. Turn your knife in any direction you want, you guys. Turn it this way, turn it that way. You don't have to have it all just perfectly straight up and down all the time. Here, I'll load it up this way and try to create something a little different. There's a little nuance. Do you see that? Something a little different at the edge here. And then pat it down. Just get these little things in here. That looks pretty good. And I know we're coming towards an end here. So my brain is already thinking, okay, what can I do the last minute? You know how I am. Okay, I got to get rid of these holidays because this is going on film. And then I want to use the palette knife for a couple little things. I'm going to take some white. First, I got to show you where I'm going. I'm going to take some white and do a couple little things right there. Now, this is where you got to slow down and focus because you get a beautiful painting. All of a sudden you go, boom, and oh no, what did I do that for? It happens to me all the time. I want to take some white all by itself. And this time I'm going to tap it like this because I don't want a lot of white on there. Hear that? Right here, I just want to get a little streak of light coming out like this. And let it disappear. See how I did that? Sometimes you want to go in and do crazy stuff like that. And maybe not so much there. Maybe I just want to apply a little bit more bright, getting more, just doing the same thing, guys. Maybe I want a little light right here, just a little edge of light up here, higher, a higher highlight. And I'm just trying to show you guys how to be nice, and you can actually add your palette knife stuff on at the very end. Did you guys enjoy this painting?
I sure did.
What?
We sure did.
Watch this. Tom Andersiliano. No. I'm like Michelangelo, huh? Bill used to do this diamond in here. That was really cool. You guys enjoy that? God bless you. Bye-bye. No, I have to get you into the learning how to do the cleanup solution. Did you guys enjoy it? Anybody?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Love it.
Now it's worth probably $500.
What is
A
that?
million.
Or more.
Look how big I made my name. I could fumato my name out. Watch. just soften my name down so it's not so dramatic. Am I teaching you guys anything?
Definitely.
How's that? It's in there, but it's not so much. Because I want to be famous? No, I'm just kidding. Here you go, Linda. So I'm going to show you guys how to clean up. I'm going to move this. I really hope everybody enjoyed this. This is how I teach. This is what I do. Myrtle can verify that my heart's in it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I really want everybody to learn stuff because that's how I always wanted when I was a kid to know more, but I didn't get a lot of information sometimes. And I was like, well, I got to go find out myself now, you know? So what I like to do when I'm teaching is I like to give it all to you. And there's so much to give, you know? It's not like it's not just a one-shot deal. You have to go through stages to get there. And that's the part that's a little bit more time consuming, is just getting through the stages of learning to do this stuff. And once you get through one stage, that sticks in your memory. And then all of a sudden you have another stage and you're like, wow, I didn't know that was coming. You know, people keep telling me all the time, don't you run out of things to teach? And I go, no. I don't know why, but I've been doing this for 30 something years, 35 years, and I haven't run out of anything to teach. And this is just one technique. You haven't even learned what you can do to the paint. You can do things to the paint you don't even realize. You can get this at the hardware store, or whatever. It's just one of those things that for the lights that go up there. You can make one in your own, or you can make it something else. You need something to rub the paint on. So this is your grid at the bottom of this art wipe container. This is a vegetable oil container. Now, if you want a real good clean, do half of it with oil, just regular vegetable oil, a quarter of it dishwashing soap, and a quarter of it water. That'll give you a really, really good, fast clean. So you shake it up, make sure it's shook up really well. That's the key here, very well, okay? And then when you fill it up in the container, you want to fill it just about an inch or two over the top of the grid. So not very far, because if you fill it up too high, it's condensed. It's thinned out too much. You want it kind of condensed. So about an inch over it. Okay. So now you're saying to yourself, okay, that's pretty cool, because now you're not breathing in mineral spirits or turpentine. Lucas, you're not breathing in any of that stuff. You'll never have to do it like I did. Which I wish I never had to, but I guess I had to do what I had to do then. So it's a new world. All right, you ready? So I'm going to use an art wipe, paper towels, hold on. And then if this doesn't come real clean too fast, I've got another way for you to clean it faster. So here you go. Into the container, do your circles. Now, if you've seen this on our video before, that's fine. But if you just tuned in and you have not seen it, this is the way you want to get your paint off. I do circles. I don't do this. Watch, guys. Don't go really light with it. That's not going to do anything. Give it an extra little push on there. Now you can see all that pigment's coming off. So these are traditional oils. And actually, they're really good oils. So here's your brush. You're not breathing any fumes in. And now you're going to wipe it off on the paper towel. And of course, it's going to get a little stained because, it's wet. Now that's your first process. If you want to do this again, you can put this in a milk carton, like a cardboard one, or any other container that you could actually throw away. Because this is just oil, soap, water, and the minerals. Paints are made out of nothing but minerals and oil. So you're safe. Everything's good for you. You can dump it in the garbage and you're fine. So if you want to use a cardboard milk carton or something like that, that's great. Okay, now I'm going to do my fan brush. Same thing. Sometimes I just drop the liner brush in there and take it out later. But I want to show you one extra little trick. If you can grab the comment for me, that'd be great. Okay, so I did the fan brush. Don't hit that too hard. You don't want to break things. Come down here. See, that blue stuck in there, so I'm going to show you something you might want to consider. And or if you did it a couple more times and dump this out into something else, you can start over. But if you find you're having a hard time getting the paint out, just take this, pour it on your paper towel, like so. Take your fan brush after it's sat in here for a minute or so. Come down here and rub this into this. Watch what's going to happen now, guys. This is going to completely remove that paint. Look, you see it? Now you're going back in here. Probably a cleaner one would be better at this point. So I think it's worth doing a little extra work to do. Now, you know what I'm saying? To keep away from the mineral spirits and all that. So now I'm down here and I'm happy about this. Look, nothing. Don't have to worry about it. Isn't that great? So, what is it? What's her name? Katie, what do you think? All right, good. All right, what do you think, Bill? Awesome. Lucas? Awesome. Frank? So you guys, you get it? Where's Myrtle? She took off. Anyhow, so there you go. You're non-toxic. You can go back to this brush and do the same thing. And you guys can paint safe. You can paint in any room you want in the house. Nobody cares. And these paints don't smell. They're all non-toxic. It's on the label. And your cleanup is non-toxic. And this has been a wonderful thing. We thought we'd do this because people are at home, a lot of people are at home now. And I really, really appreciate you guys letting me do this painting. It was very wonderful. And everybody should give Lori a big hand. And don't forget to check out Buck tomorrow. Now, this is starting to get a little oil around it. I made some dirty stuff, but this is sucking the oil out, and this is going to turn into a pasty white. 2 hours from now, this is going to be like, well, let me put it this way. 6 hours from now, it'll be like toothpaste. What do you think, Katie? What do you think, Lucas? Frank? Where's Myrtle? Oh, I'm just kidding.
Tom?
What?
Just because, so people don't have to go buy a whole big sheet of that at their hardware store to make their screen. We've done that for them, so they
you have?
We actually have them for sale in our
Cool.
store. So you can get the grid, and it's that plastic, so it's not going to be hard on your brushes. So
that's neat, Lori. I didn't even know you did that. Did you know that?
no, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've done this, huh?
Yeah. So, all right. So let's go ahead, Tom. We're going to open it up for questions for a couple minutes.